is going on, guys? Welcome to Boss Fight TV's The Reload. As always, this is Josh Engel, also known as Anti-Pro.
And I am Mike Bisson, a.k.a. Mohawk Mike.
And this week, we are going over February 14th through the 21st, everything that happened in eSports, which was a lot.
I was going to say, if we could summarize it that fast, then it'd be great. But
done. I just want to say that if you don't use those annotations at the beginning of the video, you should probably give those a try this time. It's probably going to be pretty long. As always, we start off talking about our awesome sponsor, eSports. Remember to listen for the code at some point throughout the broadcast for your chance to win awesome eSports stickers. And if you don't know about eSports, check out iHeartEsports.com or follow them as well at iHeartEsports on Twitter. They got some cool stuff. Again, nobody sent us the code, man. Seriously, guys, free stuff.
Free stuff.
iHeartEsports actually just announced StarTale as their newest team for their crazy awesome player sticker set. So if you like StarTale, go check them out.
I want to get the bomber.
I know that's
I'm going to buy the whole pack.
Just for bomber.
Just for bomber. I'll trade you the other ones.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, I'd probably keep them as a whole set. Put them in. I have like a binder that I'm keeping them in, but like bomber is going like straight in the front. Oh,
is that like a holographic Charizard?
Yeah. That one ain't going away easy. I ain't trading that one off.
Anyways, so check them out. Awesome stuff as always. And also as always, if you guys are out there looking to help the esports world, if you like esports, we are always looking for people to help us cover content. Whether that is writing articles or just kind of helping us just put our feelers out there and figure out what's going on in the esports world. So check us out. There's an apply for staff page on the site. Other than that, we are going to dive right into some StarCraft 2 news as always. Big news thing going on this week is MLG. Their StarCraft 2 arena is coming up, their winter arena.
I've never heard of that league before.
I don't know, man.
Is that some new...
They're the new kids on the block.
Oh, okay.
No, not really. They've been around for a while. JK. Anyway, so the MLG Arena is this weekend, upcoming weekend, and players from all over the world are being flown in. So the way it works, I won't spend too much time on it. So we have the top 8 from Providence, and we have EU qualifiers, Korean qualifiers, and North American qualifiers. Top 8 from each one being flown in. And they actually have the player list out as well as the brackets, which were actually announced earlier. So here are your top players that are coming to the tournament. So top 8 for Providence, we have Naniwa, Huck, MC, MVP, Leenock, Don Regu, Hey Pro, and Idra. Coming from the European side, we have Sake, we have Palmy, Grubby, Sho, Mers, Thorazane, Rhett, and Violet. And moving on to the Korean qualifiers, we have Oz, Parting, San, Marine King, Gonzi, the STC, Nest T, and Lacira. And then moving on finally to the American qualifiers, we have Doro, we have Sase, Axe, Slav, Minigun, Druby, The Muslim, DDE, and Sheth. So if you check our site closer to the end of the week, closer to the tournament, we're going to have a sweet preview article as well as predictions for each group or for each matchup and everything. Kind of interesting aspect. They're not doing group play. They're going right into brackets. So be on the lookout for that coming up soon. Also, remember, we mentioned last episode as well, they're doing the pay-per-view content. I'm sure everyone has their opinion on that. So whether you want to support them or the next tournament that we're going to be talking about, which is going on at the same weekend, and that's the ASUS ROG Winter Assembly. That's going on this weekend, and they actually just released the groups for that tournament as well. So here we go. Looking at Group A, we have Puma, Kas, Titan, and Wellmu. Moving on to Group B, Stefano, Mana, Happy, and Night End. With Group C, we have Moon, Real, Brat, and Cloud. Group D, we have Hero, Select, Seplo, and SYZ. And Group E, we have JYP, White Ra, Satini, and Dystar. And Group F, we have Teja, Elfie, Adel Scott, Jinro, And Group G, we have Lucky, Straylock, Bly, and Bishu. And finally, last but not least, Group H, we have Polt, Phoenix, Bling, and TLO. And I do have to say that final group, there's also going to be an article with predictions and stuff for this tournament as well. But I just have to throw in there, that final group is anybody's game. All the other ones I already have listed out, and I'm like, you know, these two people are probably going to come out on top, but that group is pretty crazy. So
no gut feelings yet?
No gut feelings on that group, seriously. But as always, be on the lookout on the site before the weekend hits for any predictions and pre-tournament coverage and awesome stuff like that. And that's, like I said, going on the same weekend as MLG, so it should be interesting.
A great weekend of bar crafting.
And that one's going to be free. Just saying. With the GSL, moving to the GSL Code S, we were in the round of 8, and I have to say there was a major upset in the round of 8, sir. We have Alive over MMA, and that's 3-1, which was I don't know what to actually say. That was a big. I mean, they're pretty good players. They both take games off each other. So the big one, Genius 3-0ing MC. It was actually kind of scary. Like there was a lot of talk on Twitter and Reddit the day following, and everyone was really surprised. I was one of those people. So 3-0 hurts. Ouch. Gumio beat Puzzle 3-1, and Don Ragu stops partying 3-0. So Alive will be facing off against Genius, and Gumio will be facing off against DRG, and that happens on February 23rd. So make sure you check out gomtv.net for all of that awesomeness. Moving on to Code A, there were a lot of matches in Code A. We're still pretty high up in that tournament. So here are your Code A winners. These are the people who are still in it. We have Killer, Hero, Keen, Maru, Bong Bong, Alicia, Brown, and Creator. Later on this week will be the round of 32. So be on the lookout for Code A and all of those matches. And also, going along with the GSL Code S and A is the GSTL. Here comes all those team leagues. All sorts of crazy stuff. MVP beats FXO. That's 5-2. It's kind of funny because we have Lenok, which is kind of becoming a powerhouse ever since last year, and Gumio, which you've actually heard me mention earlier in Code S. And even with those two players on FXO, they could not pull out the victory. Prime annihilates Hosio 5-2. MKP actually won every game for Prime. And that's after the first two matches were dropped. So he took the reins and he pretty much just swept the entire team. So awesome job for that. Also, NASTL, this is week 5. EG over Rain 3-1, which if you have been following the news, Rain actually kind of dispersed. IGN's not sponsoring them anymore. Mm-hmm. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays out with all these team leagues that they're in. So we shall see how that works out. Rox KAS over Quantic 3-2. Team Liquid beat Empire 3-2. And Mouse sweeps FXO 3-0, which is kind of interesting because that's a European team sweeping a Korean team. So, or a primarily Korean team. Now, moving on to the IPL Team Arena, OGS beats Mouse Sports 5-2, and Hasu Ops is the only person to take games off of OGS. So tough game for Mouse Sports. Prime close win over TSL or Team Liquid. Sorry, that's 5-4, and Startail won over SCV Life. That's 5-2. And it happened earlier, but since we're kind of talking about round 2, remember that Hosio or FXO swept Hosio 5-0 earlier on this month. In the losers bracket, Hosio beat Zenex 5-2, and that actually is done with all the team leagues for this week. And the final thing I actually want to throw out there, I won't spend too much time on it. It was kind of interesting. In Control, there were some Halo players out there that were kind of talking some smack on the StarCraft side of things, and I think it was Snipe Down or Neighbor, one or the other, got on Twitter and kind of started talking crap to In Control, and then they backed off when he challenged him to a money match. And Ryanoob actually stepped up to the plate. They played originally it was best of 5, and I think they changed it to first of 5. It was really fun. I just want to say it was laid back, so it was best of 5, and then they changed it. There was even a mulligan. In Control let Ryanoob mulligan. He was playing off race and everything, but it was kind of interesting to see the two sides of esports. You have the FPS, you have Halo Reach on one side and StarCraft on the other side. And, you know, it was cool to see the two sides kind of mix. But at the same time, I do want to say that both sides have some people that really need to check their attitude at the door when it comes to mixing first-person shooters and real-time strategy games. Because, seriously, guys, we're all under the same umbrella at esports. And if we are going to succeed, we have to work together. So let's try to keep our shenanigans out of it, okay? I'm sure you agree with me, Mike.
I like shenanigans, but I agree that shenanigans, there's no shenanigans. Are you shenanigans? There's no shenanigans in esports.
I'm going to pistol whip you if you say shenanigans. Shenanigans. But seriously, guys, we all need to be friends and be polite to each other. There's no reason that we have to be not cool. But anyways, that is done. No more StarCraft news for this week. So check out all the crazy stuff going on this weekend. We will have a lot to talk about. Speaking of a lot to talk about.
If you're a fan of the show, or even may have stumbled upon the show once, you kind of know that typically the format goes StarCraft news, everything else, fighting game news at the end of the show. Well, this weekend, there was a lot of fighting game, not only, tournaments, but news as well. So what are we doing? Fighting games, moving up the ladder.
Right. I mean, we normally put whatever game has the most to talk about, higher up on the ladder. And normally, recently, the fighting games, there hasn't been a lot of tournaments. There was one tournament, a couple weeks ago or whatever. So, moving up. And I'm, with the Road to Evo going on, it's going to be up in the top area a lot more.
Well, speaking of Road to Evo, first off, let me preface it like this. You had 3 major tournaments going on, 2 of which were Road to Evo qualifiers. You had Winter Brawl, which was going on in Philadelphia, PA, which is technically the Western Hemisphere. You had the World Game Cup, which was going on in Cannes, France. Cannes, France. It sounds so funny when I say that. That is basically the Central Hemisphere, so everybody in Europe. And then you had the Aussie Haru, which was in Australia, which was basically the Eastern Hemisphere. So all representatives of the fighting game community, no matter where you're from or your global location, had a chance this weekend to come out and play and kind of prove yourself going into the 2012 season. And boy, did it happen.
It was awesome. And I want to mention that if you were watching it at home, you didn't have to mess up your sleep schedule.
No, not for the most part.
Everybody wins.
Yay. So let's go ahead and we'll just go ahead jump right into it. So Winter Brawl, as I mentioned, this was primarily for North America. This was it. So this is where all the major players came out. For the most part, a lot of East Coast, but there was some West Coast representation there. So let's go ahead and we'll jump right into these are going to be the players to look out for because again, this is for Evo qualifying for the Big Vegas tournament, and so these are the players to really look out for. So we have first place Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Justin Wong, which
not surprising,
crazy shenanigans there. And then we had Street Fighter 4, this EG Justin Wong guy. Again,
who's that guy?
Apparently came out of
I never
nowhere
heard of him.
to sweep the tournament. Mortal Kombat 9, we had VVV CD Jr., which is very good placing. He's doing very well in the Mortal Kombat scene. King of Fighters 13, this was one of the first majors. And we had Riri, who ended up taking that, but that was a very close game in the finals. Soul Calibur 4 was Link RKC, which was, again, this is another time that we've really seen Soul Calibur 5 kind of come out of its shell in the competitive format now that it's had its full release. And then Tekken Tag Tournament 2, certainly last but not least, but we had TK Fighting GM, who kind of came out of nowhere to take that. So that is the recap for the Winter Brawl event, but we have an article on
there's more.
Well, we have an article on our site which actually covers the team events and some other aspects of that tournament. So go ahead and check that out.
And the full winners list is up there.
The full winners list.
If we sat here and listed out all the names, like normally Mike, how Mike holds up his things. We've got like
I've
seven.
got a lot of notes.
There's a lot of pages. So
a lot of notes.
moving on.
So let's go into the next Evo qualifier, and this was again the Ozi Hado 10 event, which is in Australia. This really gave the opportunity for some Asian players to come out and really showcase, but there was only really one, and that was Zan.
Wait, that's kind of surprising that they all didn't make the trip down there, especially the Japanese players and how big it is over there.
So, with that being said, representation of Japan by Zan was actually well enough. Which let's go right into the results. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 singles. We had Arnold Disu. We had Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition 2012. I just like saying it all together because it's so long.
It's too much.
And that was DM Zan. So even though he was technically the only Asian representative there, he brought home the gold. Soul Calibur 5, we had Viper. And as you can see, King of Fighters 13, we also had DM Zan. So again, he may have only been the real, Eastern Hemisphere representative there, but he was there to prove that he was on the top. And then certainly last but not least, once again, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, we had Lucky Strikes. So
we've heard him before.
We have heard him before. Indeed. So that wraps it up for that portion of the tournament. But then we have the World Game Cup
on the other side,
which again was not a Road to Evo qualifier, but still a lot of representation from Europe to kind of actually see this. This for me was kind of like the big test to see as far as like the new titles that are coming out, who kind of came out of the woodwork, and we'll see actually who flies out for Evo, and we'll see what happens with that. Even though this wasn't an Evo qualifier, right. So again, jumping right into the results. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had CDV White Black. Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition 2012, you had MCZ, Macats Tokido. And then Mortal Kombat 9. It's funny because I'm going to make a side note about this. You can see that the number one player is Mustard. There was actually two players from Germany, Mustard and Ketchup, who respectively got first and third. Mustard played Cyrax, who is yellow, and Ketchup played Sector, who is red. So I thought that was very cute, very neat dynamic.
That was clever. Yeah. It was clever devils.
Soul Calibur 5, we had Elive Kev, who played Nightmare. Amazing. He is actually well-known in the Soul Calibur community, and it was really nice to see him come out and, play his standard Nightmare fare in, who is really rated as a lower-tier character. As it says right now, we'll have to wait and see how that works out. But, he's a very accomplished player out of Europe, so we'll have to wait and see. He basically said during the award that he would be playing in some of the Evo qualifiers. So we'll have to wait and see officially which of those are going to be. And then King of Fighters 13, we had, guess who? Elive, Mr. King of Fighters.
What do you know?
So obviously very favored to win, actually representing the U.S. very proper. Street Fighter X Tekken, we had Fudo. And that wraps up the majority of the tournament results. Now, there are still some other notes that I'd like to throw out there. First off, in regards to Winter Brawl, local battles, Chris G. Oh my God! It's one of those things that you see these events, and like players like Justin Wong that play in the multiple titles and have great showings. Chris G got second place in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. He actually also got second place. His team for Super Street Fighter 4 3v3 actually also got second place, which is very cool to see. And then he also got fifth place, he got fifth place in Street Fighter singles, seventh place in Mortal Kombat. So all over the board, grabbing those eSports dollars as fast as he can. So
I like Jay Wong, man. Yeah. He kind of plays all the fields too.
Which that's I'll mention that too, is that Justin Wong in the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 tournament actually came out of the losers brackets.
That was the sickest.
You have to watch that final. Go get that VOD. It's amazing. If you've never watched a top tier fighting game tournament, there were over 18,000 people watching it.
It was crazy.
It was bananas.
Bananas.
And then we also have technically today, if you're watching this on Wednesday, Cross Assault, which is the Capcom Street Fighter X Tekken reality show, starts Wednesday on the 22nd. If you've seen last week, we posted the video about the actual trailer announcing all of the team representatives. So keep an eye on that because that'll be interesting going into the rest of the season. Cool. Yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be cool.
I think it's a really great concept and
great concept, great
experience.
I'm sorry.
Shout out to TFA Hornet, who's actually from Cincinnati. Woo-woo. I'm not playing no favorites, but I'm just saying.
That guy.
I'm just saying. Dr. Sub-Zero for the win. And then actually, Josh,
big announcement.
This is one you actually woke me up this morning with a text.
I woke up and saw Twitter blowing up on this announcement. I do have to say it was interesting because this was announced at the end of an article talking about Street Fighter X Tekken characters that were going to be available on the PlayStation Vita. Okay, so not many people.
Little sleeper announcement.
Why are they?
Yeah.
You know, no offense to the PlayStation Vita, but hey, come on, man, you're not gonna play Street Fighter X Tekken on that. You're gonna play it on PlayStation or Xbox.
But the
or
Vita has the capability to pause your game on your PS3 and continue it on your Vita.
Anyways,
so right in the middle of a match, you can just pause your game and you're like, hold on, I gotta go catch the bus, and then.
Although it wouldn't work with you because you use Internet Explorer, it would fail.
Thanks. On with the news.
I had to say it. Anyways, so they stuck it in literally like last paragraph, and they announced that they are, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but they are working on a tournament series involving not just Street Fighter X Tekken, but other games as well. And Capcom, not talking about Capcom here, have pledged a $500,000 prize pool over the entire series. Now, a lot of people are wondering, okay, is Capcom just putting this on as like a 25th anniversary kind of circuit, and maybe they're going to be the people over it? Are they going to pump this into Road to Evo qualifiers, or are they working with another, tournament series out there that might not necessarily be a fighting game tournament series, but maybe just a multi-gaming genre tournament series? So we shall see how that works. And like I said, the Twitter world is bursting with excitement, and a lot of rumors are going around. So until we figure out exactly what's going on, we're not going to make any more comments. But, be on the lookout for any kind of crazy announcements coming from Capcom.
But in the meantime, if you are itching for some of those esports dollars up for grabs, MLG is actually just announced. They've already announced that Mortal Kombat 9 will be at the Winter Championships for this season. They just announced the actual prize pool, which is
pretty good,
$16,700, which basically works out to first place is $6,000.
It's a little bit more than most fighting game tournaments.
That is quite a bit.
Just a wee little bit.
Which is unfortunate because, what's funny is that I had thought about it before, talking about Road to Evo. We actually have the NorCal regionals.
Same weekend.
So same weekend as the Winter Championships. But, I mean, $6,000 first place may draw out.
Yeah, it may take some people.
I mean, technically it's West Coast, East Coast. So we'll have the East Coast representation will be there. But the West Coast players, I'm not saying like Justin Wong is going to drop everything and go
to the MLG. He doesn't really play Mortal Kombat.
Not anymore. No.
He won that first tournament, but yeah.
I don't really know a lot of people that still play Mortal Kombat anymore, but for $6,000, my dad will play.
I will play. Hey, sign me up. I'm gonna start practicing like a boss. So does that wrap up fighting game news?
That is all I have for fighting game news right now. There is actually a whole lot more, as I mentioned before. Keep a lookout on actually most of the articles are already up there now at BossFightTV, where we actually go to more in-depth, player results, player standings, and actual match reporting. So,
written by the one and only Mike Bisson and our awesome staff member Nick Ivy, also known as Servo or Servotronic.
What's funny is we were texting each other earlier this week, like what games do you want to cover or what tournaments, and he gave me full reign, like what tournament do you want to cover? So I really appreciate it. And then Nick as well was burning the midnight oil watching two tournaments at the same time.
We were playing League at the time, and we were sitting there, and we're like, hey, Nick, you want to come play with us? He's like, no, man, I'm watching these tournaments. So he's super dedicated. Speaking of League of Legends.
Wow.
What a segue there. Curse. They had their invitational that we kind of talked about last week that didn't necessarily get off the ground. They got all their ducks in a row, and they actually played all the matches. I do want to, it's kind of interesting the way that this tournament is set up. They invited 8 teams to play in a tournament, and what happened, or what's going to happen, it hasn't happened yet, is the winner of those 8 teams will face Curse. So Curse, I mean, it's their tournament.
Oh.
It's their tournament, but, they have guaranteed themselves a spot in their own finals, in their own tournament. I'm sorry, that's just kind of weird. Anyways, so it's going to be, well, I'm not going to say yet, but so Curse will face off against the winner of the 8 invited teams, and the winner will receive $20,000, which is a lot for 4 people.
Money floating around on this esports scene.
Yes, there's a lot. So, Dignitas beat Epic in the semifinals, and CLG beat Solo Mid in the semifinals as well. Meaning, Dignitas and CLG were in the finals of the side story, or the side story.
Side story.
The side story. The side story. What was I even trying to say there?
I don't know.
I don't even know. In the side tournament before they go to the actual finals, right? So Dignitas wins in the finals, and they will be facing off against Team Curse, which it was a running joke in the community, like, hey, Curse isn't that great, so they're just gonna give them the $20,000. So we'll see what happens. So stay tuned for all that information on that tournament. Also, CLG, Counterlogic Gaming, they've announced a new tournament circuit, which I'm excited for because there's not a really big competitive side of League of Legends outside of the majors. A lot of people, they will play the game competitively by themselves, like in Solo Queen and stuff like that, and a lot of teams don't get together and actually practice, which is kind of weird for, an esport of this caliber. And it's funny because in the announcement for the tournament, they actually were like, that's exactly why they're doing it, because it gives people more incentive to play together and keep that competitiveness level as high as possible. Anyways, so it's a $3,000 prize pool, and it's going to run every other week, except for if it lands on like a major tournament, they'll reschedule, obviously, and you will gain money and points within it. And at the end of the year, they're going to have a big tournament. I don't know if it's going to be live or if it's going to be online. There's no announcement yet. But the interesting aspect is that they're also tagging on another tournament, which is kind of like almost the first that I've seen anything like this. It's a shoutcasting. I don't know if I would even call it a tournament. It's like a contest.
Right.
So you can apply to shoutcast this tournament, and it's going to be part CLG choosing and part like People's Choice, and they're voting for who the best casters are, and there's actually prize money involved in that as well. So if you are an inspiring caster, check out clggaming.net. I think that's the website. Just search Counterlogic Gaming on Google. And also, if you look on our article about it, it has the link right there in it. So check it out. It should be exciting.
I'm just going to say, because it seems to be the common theme for this show, let's go ahead and throw out a code for submitting for your approval.
What do you got?
Hashtag eSports money.
Esports money?
Because, we're already, CLG is offering $3,000. Capcom just announced a $500,000 prize. MLG just $16,700. Which is a weird number, but I totally remember it. So let's go ahead, and if you would like...
Esports money. I agree.
If
that's
you would
fine.
like...
That's fine. Go.
Go
No,
ahead.
I said that's fine.
No, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No,
you do it.
Mike?
No, you do.
I swear to God.
Okay.
If
you would like... If you would like to support esports, then you should already be following at BossFightTV and at iHeartEsports. But if you would even like some free stuff for supporting esports,
absolutely free.
Absolutely free.
We're not signing you up for like an email list. We're not, making you sign some contract, sign up for like a new phone, like.
But you got to do it in the next 10 minutes because we can't do this all day.
We can't do this all day.
We can't do this all day,
man.
So
you're gonna love my nuts.
Follow.
Sorry, I had to pull out the Vince from ShamWow. Sorry.
At BossFightTV, at iHeartEsports. Use the
eSports
hashtag
money.
eSports money. I just went Oprah there for a second. eSports money. You get money. You get money. Everybody gets money.
You mean stickers?
Well, stickers.
Stickers.
But
seriously, it's been a couple of weeks, so I'm pretty sure that unless
there's
like
a
1,000, yeah,
there's like,
unless there's like 1,000 people, which if there was 1,000 people, I would not mind. But there's gonna be a lot of stickers gonna be given out. So
hashtag eSports money.
eSports money, like a boss.
Big dollars. Shot
Without
dollars.
What are you rapping now?
Should the
Are you gonna be like the eSports M&M?
Should the S in eSports be a $sign?
No, because when you
Okay.
do hashtags with like symbols, it messes them up.
Okay.
So,
I'm new to Twitter. Sorry.
Mike, shut up.
But something I'm not new to is the competitive Halo scene.
Halo scene.
And something I'm even more familiar with is the Reflex GT series, which this past weekend kicked off their 8th season. If you're not familiar with the Reflex GT series, it's basically if MLG were to have a stepchild that they left in the closet and just didn't pay attention to, that's the Reflex GT. Because you know what? The production quality is amazing. The tournament play is amazing. The competitiveness. But then you also have A-Spec on there that's wearing like Russian hats and, dancing around singing the Party Rock anthem. It's amazing. So this past weekend, as I mentioned before,
You guys what I'm looking. You're
You
weird.
make this face. That's how you do it in Amsterdam. Everybody does it. Anyway, so this was actually the first big no bloom Halo Reach LAN, at least outside of America.
Right.
I can at least preface it that way.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. So the biggest story is Apex, who has been the #1 team, not only in Halo, but Call of Duty and the other games that they compete in, actually came in seeded number 2, below SK Gaming.
SK.
So, going into the semifinals, you basically it was SK Gaming, who was seeded number 1, you had Apex seeded number 2, and then you had seed number 3, who was Western Wolves, basically all made it to the semifinals. Great, no surprise there. But then you had Katrina Super, who is seeded number 7, who started throwing the monkey wrench in everybody's gears.
There's always someone that does that.
So, once again, I have a recap that goes more in depth, but basically all you need to know, a recap? A recap?
I like them recaps.
That's how they pronounce it in Amsterdam at Reflex GT.
Come check out our recap.
We have a little recap. Anyway, so Apex rightfully taking first place. We have number 2 is Western Wolves, who once again came in seeded number 3. SK, who was the #1 seed, came 3rd. And normally I only post about the top 3 teams, but as you can see, number 4 is Katrina Super, who actually was the number 7 seed.
Interesting.
And just did fantastic. Fantastic. Hats off to those guys. I'll just go ahead and I'll segue into it right now. This weekend on the 25th is their actually Reflex GT Season 8 is during their first Modern Warfare 3 tournament. This will be 4v4 on the PlayStation 3. So very exciting to see which teams will be coming out. I mean, if I have to make a prediction, Apex will probably win again.
Those guys.
Unless if they have somebody else. Although Western Wolves, I mean, we'll have to see how they come into the play because you know what? They're picking up players left and right.
And talking on the Halo Reach and Modern Warfare front, just 2 little tidbits out there. Mm-hmm. I kind of went on a rant a couple episodes ago when MLG finally announced Halo. The player passes, the actual competitor passes, went on sale on Tuesday. So if Halo Reach doesn't sell out, I give up on you. I will literally not claim myself as a Halo individual. So put your money where your mouth is and buy your damn your player passes, and just. If with all of that crap that you put everybody through, you better deliver. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. And on the Modern Warfare front, I actually caught it live. It was on Machinima Respawn. They had 402 in there during a live show, and they were kind of going over some stuff today. I only caught part of it, but talking about kind of like the future of Modern Warfare as it goes into like competitive tournaments. LAN is at the bottom of their list.
Ugh.
So, and like Robert Bowling 402, he was like, "Look, guys, like I am trying. He's not the guy to go to and bitch him out because there's no LAN or whatever. He's on our side, okay? So you need to talk to the bigger pants in the relationship. That would be the actual developers. with Activision, or should I say the publishers, it's probably an Activision thing.
Yeah,
everyone likes to dog on Activision. So let's just keep dogging on Activision.
Dota 2 is gonna have LAN.
I know. I can't believe we forgot to mention that.
Take that page.
It's awesome.
Follow it.
Sweet.
But anyway, we still have last two. I will take your 2 tidbits, and I will match you. I will call your 2 tidbits. Because also within the Call of Duty community, there was the Reddit Modern Warfare 3 tournament that happened this past weekend. Because that ran through Reddit, through a bunch of basically passionate people in the Call of Duty scene. I don't really know the brackets or anything like that, but it was well attended. I watched some of the stream. But I don't. As far as results, I'm sorry, guys, I can't bring you 100%.
Check the website if we find out.
Yeah, I'll let you know. And then last but not least, Golden Boy has started a new series called the Weekly Fun Fair.
Ah, yes.
Which is actually a very, it's a great concept. It's basically a community builder where he legit, like he did it on Friday. He said he may start doing it on Fridays again. We'll keep up for updates on that. But he's basically. You send him a message on Xbox Live, he gives you a code. You send him a message, he sends you an invite, and it's just rolling. People in the lobby, people playing, and he just, like this past week...
He shoutcasts the whole thing.
Right.
And he has, like, I think what he's going to do each week, he's going to have, like, a different theme.
A new game type. Right. So this week was, like, no attachments, no perks. So, like, classic, like, pro Call of Duty 4, like you would see on the PC. It was amazing.
Reminded me of Counter-Strike.
It did, actually. Although they played nothing but Capture the Flag, but...
Right.
I mean, for a last-second thing, it was amazing.
Indeed.
So
yeah, he said, like, literally that day.
It was, like, 20 minutes ago.
He's like, yeah, man, I decided to do... I'm jealous of Golden Boy and everyone like him, where if they turn their stream on and tweet out and they already have, like, 50, 100, 200 or more viewers, I hate you guys so much. He's like, I think I'm going to do this. So an hour before he tweets out, hey, guys, in an hour, check out my Twitch TV page, and boom. So many viewers. It was pretty cool. So had a fun time talking with everyone in the lobby, and good times indeed. So unless you have any more tidbits,
I don't think I have any more bits to tid.
But anyways, that wraps up this episode, which was shorter than I expected. It's actually about on par with normal shows. So
go to the site and look at everything we did. Because there was a lot of work that went behind.
Gosh.
I have 7 pages worth of. I mean, I could go back through. And
no, we're good.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, man. Anyways, thank you for watching. As always, if you have any comments, questions, anything you want to tell us, hit us up on Twitter or staff@bossfight.tv. Let us know what's on your mind. But this is Josh Engel, also known as Anti-Pro, signing off along with...
This is Mike Bisson, a.k.a. Mohawk Mike. Thank you for supporting esports, whatever capacity you do. And
thank you for considering. I beat you.